Good evening, night owls. You're tuned into The Midnight Veil, the podcast where shadows speak and the unknown steps into the light, at least for a little while. I'm your host, Marcus, and tonight I want to talk about a legend that's been whispered in the dark corners of our city for decades. They call him the Mirror Man. You've heard the stories, haven't you? A man who lives inside mirrors, stepping out only at night to walk among us. He doesn't take the bus, doesn't shop at your corner store. Number. He glides through our world like smoke, leaving behind, well, that depends on who you ask. There's something unsettling about mirrors, isn't there? You ever stare into one too long and feel like there's something else staring back? That maybe, just maybe, there's another version of you behind that glass. The Mirror Man. He's not your reflection. He's something else entirely. Let's start with what we know, if you can call it that. The Mirror Man is said to emerge only at night, slipping out of reflective surfaces like smoke curling out of a bottle. He's tall, usually, sometimes thin, sometimes broad-shouldered. His face, it's blurry. People who claim to have seen him can't quite agree on what he looks like. Some say his eyes are piercing blue. Others swear they're molten gold. The only thing everyone agrees on? The way light bends around him, like the universe isn't sure he's supposed to be here. But it's not just his appearance that makes him unique. No, the stories say the Mirror Man doesn't come out just to haunt mirrors or spook the occasional insomniac. He's got a job to do. They say he's a gardener of sorts, a planter of dreams. That's right, dreams. Supposedly, he carries these little orbs of light in his coat, glowing seeds that he places into the minds of the sleeping. A struggling artist might wake up with the idea for their next masterpiece. A child might dream of soaring through the stars and grow up to become an astronaut. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But not all dreams are good ones. Some stories say the Mirror Man also plants nightmares. Not to be cruel, but to warn. A dream of falling might keep you from taking a dangerous hike the next day. A shadowy figure in your sleep might make you wary of a new friend. The Mirror Man doesn't just plant dreams, he plants possibilities. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You see, no one who's met the Mirror Man leaves unchanged. One woman described him as a soothing presence, a voice like velvet that calmed her deepest fears. Her brother, he claimed the same encounter left him chilled to the bone, swearing that the Mirror Man's shadow was wrong, too long, too alive. I found this account from a guy named Elias. He used to work as a night watchman at the old library downtown. Now, this library, it's been abandoned for years, but back then, it was still hanging on. Elias was a loner, the kind of guy who'd rather be surrounded by books than people. One night, he was making his rounds when he noticed a mirror in the staff room. A big antique thing with a cracked frame. He swears he saw movement in the glass, even though no one else was there. Then, the Mirror Man stepped out. Elias said he wasn't scared at first, just mesmerized. The man's voice was like music, and his eyes, yeah, Elias couldn't agree with himself on the color. The Mirror Man told him something cryptic, something about how Elias's field had been neglected for too long. Then he pressed a glowing orb of light into Elias's forehead. The next morning, Elias quit his job and left the city. He didn't know why, but he felt compelled. Last I heard, he's running an artist retreat somewhere in the mountains. Says he's happier than he's ever been. So what do we make of all this? Is the Mirror Man real? A figment of the collective unconscious? A metaphor for change? Or maybe just a late-night ghost story we tell ourselves to make sense of the strange and unexplainable. All I know is this: every time I look into a mirror now, I linger just a second too long, just in case. And if you ever wake up from a dream so vivid, so strange, that it feels like it wasn't yours at all, maybe, just maybe, you've met him too. That's it for tonight's episode of The Midnight Veil. If you've got your own stories about the Mirror Man, or anything else that goes bump in the night, drop me a message. Until next time, keep your lights low and your curiosity high. Sweet dreams.